Oh gosh, where do I even start? Filming this video, it feels like I'm a completely new person. It feels like I'm just starting this channel. I know that I uploaded few videos on this channel, but I feel that they are so outdated, and I feel like the person who was on these videos, yes, it was me, but I just feel that it was such a different person. So I'm just gonna start with hi, I'm Paula, and I successfully won a fight with depression. And I'm so proud of myself. And today I'm here to tell you a little bit about that. And the content on my channel is gonna shift a little bit. When I posted the first videos, I wanted to travel a little bit more. I wanted to show you my adventures. I wanted to show you some pretty places. And I think this is an amazing content, but you can find other creators who do that. I feel that my purpose for filming has changed completely, and I don't want to do it anymore until I want to do it again. Who knows? We all change, so our content changes, our needs change. We as humans, we progress every day, and who knows who I'm gonna be in the next year. I don't even know who I'm gonna be the next week because I've been making so much progress. So in the next videos, I'm just gonna be telling you about the stuff that I discovered, all the things, all the small changes, all the habits that I changed that made me the person who I am today. And I feel so much happier than how I was feeling even a month ago. I feel that I've progressed so much that honestly, when I think about myself from 2 days ago, I'm like, whoa, the progress I made in the last 2 days is just massive. It's amazing. I was amazing 2 days ago, but I'm even better today. And I feel like the progress is just going so fast that, yeah, who am I gonna be in a week? I don't even know. So you probably just got a rough idea what am I going to be talking about, what I'm going to be talking about on this channel. It's going to be about my self-growth journey. So I think it's fair if I just start from the beginning, because maybe some of you are new on this channel and you have no idea who I am. So my name is Paula. I'm from Poland, but I've been living abroad, mainly in Asia, in different Asian countries, for the last 17 years or something like that. I used to work as a model, so it was just helping with traveling. And I've spent last 5 years in Bali. I've been based in Bali for the last 5 years, and in such a beautiful place. I was surrounded by amazing people. The weather was great. I have two amazing dogs who are just chilling here, but I don't know if you can see them. I'm sure if you want to see a little bit more of them, you can always go to my Instagram. It's Pantinka. So objectively speaking, I was in a beautiful place, nice vibe, like good weather. What could go wrong? I got a depression. I was in a very, very bad state. I can't remember exactly when it started, but I think the battle lasted for 3 years. So for 3 years, I felt miserable. I didn't see the purpose of my life. I had very dark thoughts. You probably know what I'm talking about exactly, and it's unfortunate, but YouTube bans this kind of words. So I don't want to risk having my video banned, because I feel that the message is more important. So I had those really dark thoughts on daily basis. It was so difficult to get up from my bed every day because I didn't see the reason. Why would I get up? There's nothing waiting for me. There's nothing exciting. There's no purpose. Nothing makes sense. What is life for? All of those questions. And I'm not saying that I know the answers to all of those questions, because I don't think anyone can see my pups over here. I don't think anyone knows answers to these questions, and that's okay. But I'm in a place that I do have a purpose. I did find a way how to get excited about every single day. I'll be more than excited to walk you through my journey. And I hope that by watching my videos, maybe I'll give a little bit of comfort to some of you. Maybe I will share some tools that will be useful for some of you, or maybe it will be just an interesting story for you because you've never experienced anything like this and you want to hear what is that about so you can understand other people better. Whatever it is, I just hope that by filming and posting these videos, I'm gonna bring something positive to your life, and I'm just gonna share a good message. So yeah, I got sick. Unfortunately, I got depressed roughly 3 years ago. It was a very, very tough time. In the beginning, I didn't even know what to do. I was still a very active person in a sense that I was working every day. I was still catching up with my friends. I was partying quite a lot. I would go on trips. So I was a highly functioning depressed person. And I continued living like this until I started crumbling and I just couldn't function anymore. And it gotten so bad. You know, when you hide your problems, they don't magically disappear. They are still sitting there. In fact, if you just start hiding them and repressing them, they're only going to get stronger and darker and more difficult. And at some point, you won't even know what the problem was because you hid them, the problems were, because you just hid them so deep that it's even more difficult. Because if you understand the problems, at least you know where to start, at least you know what you have to face. And if you don't know what the problem is, you need to dig to find them first. So I got to the point where I knew I needed some help. But it took me a year to start my therapy. I couldn't motivate myself. I lost all the motivation. I had no motivation to work. I was still working because I needed money. So I guess I had a little bit of motivation, but I didn't enjoy what I was doing, even though I work as a YouTuber. So my job is great. It's a dream job for a lot of people, but I just hated it because it was not hated it, but it was giving me an anxiety because I didn't believe that I was doing anything good. I thought I had an imposter syndrome. I also believed that whatever the money I was making off YouTube, I didn't deserve it, that it was just luck. I was just lucky that some people watched my videos and it's gonna finish sometime soon. And in fact, YouTube is kind of tricky because it works like this. So every YouTuber has their peak, then the views go lower, then you can work on it to go up, and then it goes lower. It's natural. It's a natural process. But when you're depressed, you just see it differently. So I thought that I didn't deserve the views, I didn't deserve the money, I didn't deserve the subscribers, I didn't deserve the people who followed me and the people who send me nice messages saying that they like my videos. I thought that anytime soon they're gonna discover who the real real me. And I believed that there was something wrong with me, that I was broken, that the whole me was just a big shadow of everything bad. And sometimes I could describe what was the bad thing, but sometimes it was just a feeling. I was just like, no, I'm not good enough. They're gonna discover. They're gonna find out the real me. That was the way I was thinking. So it was just it was a very stressful time. I'm just forwarding it very, very quickly because we are operating on years. I felt so bad for a year, and it took me a year to finally get a motivation to seek help of a therapist. And thank God, some of the people who watched my YouTube videos, because I was openly talking about I need some help, I'm not feeling good. I was openly talking about my mental struggles. And I mentioned a few times that I'm looking for a therapist. And some amazing souls send me contacts to their therapist. The first therapist that I got, we didn't click. And then I got a contact to another therapist. And she was amazing. She was amazing. On the first session, we pretty much discovered what was the problem, or not the problem, because I'm changing the way the words I use. What was where did the difficulties in my life came from? What was the source of the challenges I was facing? Basically, we operate on psychological schemas. We discovered that I unfortunately have 17 psychological schemas that make my life very, very difficult, and it's all rooted in my childhood, and it's an emotional neglection and few other things that I'm not going to be discussing because I respect my family and I don't want to share the problems that I don't have any problem to share my issues, but I don't want to get my family into it. But the thing is that we all have some childhood trauma. Psychologists say that there's not a single person who didn't get a trauma from their childhood, doesn't matter how good the childhood was. So I faced a lot of struggles during my upbringing and during my childhood, during my teenage time. And then I was just perpetuating the behavior I knew. So I was making those schemas stronger. So it just became unbearable. I was perpetuating what I knew. So every behavior or like every reaction that made me feel bad, I was perpetuating it. So I have a fear of abandonment. That's one of the major things that actually opened my eyes on like, where does my behavior come from? I'm scared of being abandoned. Because like in my family, I was never told that my parents loved me. I remember I had one grandfather who was like really loving, and he was like showing his emotions. He was like more affectionate. He died when I was 10. And then I never really built strong connections with my friends at school. I had some friends, but it wasn't that close. And I never felt that I had people who loved me in my life. And some people that I'm talking about, I should have received an unconditional love from. And I'm not saying they don't love me, they love me, but I wasn't shown that love. And I didn't feel that. Because just because you feel something, but if you don't translate it, if you don't show it in actions or in words, other people cannot see it, right? So I definitely don't blame anyone. My family did the best they knew with all the knowledge they had. So definitely not blaming them whatsoever. But I needed to dig to the core, to the root, to the reason of why did my life become so difficult? So we did. We digged to that, and honestly, it was fucking hard. It was such a difficult experience for me. And I feel that when the door cracked open a little bit and I started seeing all of the emotions that I was suppressing for so many years. I'm 36, by the way. It was just so overwhelming. I remember there was a time in my life where for a month or 2 months, I would be crying a couple of times a day. And it was random situations. Sometimes I was doing my grocery shopping and I would just start crying. Embarrassing. I mean, I don't think emotions are embarrassing, but you know what? It's not ideal when I start crying for no visible reason in a public place. It's not the most comfortable situation. I'm not afraid of my tears anymore. I think. I guess we will see in other situations, but there's been few moments when I cried in public when talking about something and I didn't apologize, and I was so proud of myself. But yeah, at that time, this month was so difficult for me because all of these emotions were getting out of my chest. Whoa, that was tough as hell. So I started understanding where does everything come from, what does it mean? I understood that my reactions are not because I'm a bad person. The way I react in particular situations when my triggers, when some triggers happen, it's not because I'm bad. It's not because there's something wrong with me. I'm broken. It's because I have a pattern. I was conditioned to have a reaction like this. And because that was the only reaction I knew, and when I was younger, it was helping me. But now it doesn't. It works against me. But because when I was younger, it was helping me. And my subconsciousness still thinks that it's good and it's working my advantage, but it doesn't. So I knew that, okay, it comes from here. I need to rewire my reactions, and I have a full power to do so. So it was really, really eye-opening, and I thought I was in a good place. I was like, okay, I understand what I'm standing on. I feel like I've progressed a lot, and I did. And then I met someone whom I started a relationship, a romantic relationship with, and everything was going great. He was visiting me in Bali because he wasn't based here. Um, it's like every month we would meet, sometimes a little bit less often, but it was nice, great time. He was so caring. He cared about my needs, and we had a lot of deep conversations to get to know each other. We were spending time actively, and I felt so taken care of. Oh my gosh, I felt so secured, and I thought that I finally found this person who's gonna change my life. And I'm gonna touch on this topic in different videos because this is such a bullshit that I used to expect someone to magically pop in my life and change my life for better, because like I'm the only person who can actually do that. But okay, at that time I was like, oh, I finally this prince on a white horse just came to my life and he's gonna change everything. Now I'm gonna be happy. Now I'm gonna be more productive. Now I'm gonna heal my depression. You know what? Bullshit. I traveled to Australia to see where he lives, to get to know his friends, and as soon as we entered the plane, the whole vibe has changed. I don't really understand until now what happened exactly, but I feel that the feelings were different. I didn't feel taken care of anymore. And I can only talk about my feelings, right? I still don't think he's a bad person or anything like this, and I wish him the best. I overcame all of this. I'm just telling you about like how I felt. And I think it's a good thing that this relationship happened because I hit the rock bottom in this relationship. I was mentally broken. I was destroyed. And when I told you before, I felt that all of my needs were taken care of. And now my most important needs were not taken care of, and the emotional security wasn't there. I didn't feel taken care of, even though he was putting a lot of effort, but it wasn't what I needed. It was what he wanted to give me. But it's like, I like this comparison. I told him about it a few times. It's like if someone is thirsty and you give them food, it's nice, but they are still thirsty. So basically, that's how I felt. And I discovered I had some of the most shocking reactions, not reactions, but like some weird stuff happened to me. So I went through something called detachment. When at some point, there was one day when I got so stressed and I just couldn't handle it. It wasn't like physically abusive or anything like this, nothing like that. It was just mentally difficult for me. I felt so lonely. I felt so not supported. I felt lonely because I didn't know anyone there. It was far away. It was like all of these factors. And there was like no one I could actually like chat to. I also didn't feel I had my safe space. Anyway, one day I felt detachment happening to me, and it was such a weird feeling. I felt like I wasn't myself, and I felt like I was looking at myself from somebody else's perspective, and everything around me just started going slower, and I started seeing more details around me, but also like they didn't matter to me. I felt like I wasn't there. I felt like I was watching a video and someone just slowed down the video. So I was like freaked out, but also like I didn't really have any strong reaction. In my head, I was like, oh, am I dying? But also like I'm not panicking, I'm not in pain, like what the hell is going on? Then my psychologist told me that that's what happens to some people when you face so much stress that your body just can't handle it anymore, and that the detachment happen just because you need a break. Because your body just can't handle it anymore. So I went through like really, really difficult times, and I also see a lot of things that I don't know how to phrase it, because I wanted to say I wish I've done differently, but at the same time I needed this lesson. So I see it just, this whole situation helped me to open my eyes to realize, oh, I need to work on this and this and this and this and this and this and this. And it was a long list. But most importantly, I was like, wow, I can't really stand my boundaries. because I don't know what my boundaries are. I don't know what I like. I don't know who I am. And I just realized at age 36 that I don't know who I am. I don't know what I want. And I don't like myself. In fact, I am my own enemy. You know, it was pretty shocking to realize something like this because I don't even know how to like myself. I am myself. So, like, how do I connect with myself? Because I am me. So, obviously, I'm connected, right? But then I just realized, nope, it's not like that. So after this experience, I got such a severe depression that I didn't leave my house for 3 or 4 months. I couldn't leave my house. It was giving me a panic attack. I had everything delivered to the house, and it was a bad moment of my life. And working on social media, I was getting a lot of critical comments from a lot of people. So when I shared that I'm depressed and I had those dark thoughts of hurting myself, because like I don't feel ashamed to share anything like this, but you know, like most of the comments I was getting was like, oh, you're boring. I loved it when you were going on those small trips. Go visit some, go to a waterfall, take us to a temple. And I was shocked. I was shocked that people, hearing that someone is facing the most difficult time of their lives, tell them, go and show us Bali. I was like shocked. No, I'm like, well, you know what? They don't owe me anything. I mean, I can't have any expectations of the people I don't even know. And also, like, I shouldn't expect anything from anyone. I can only control what I'm thinking and my reactions, right? So now it's a little bit different, but it was shocking to me. So that wasn't helping. So the more I was working, I love working. So the more I work, the better I feel usually. But because my work now was giving me so much anxiety, I wanted to work, but I was also stressed. And I was like, I don't know how to change it. But I also didn't feel good enough to, I mean, my life wasn't that interesting. So like, I don't feel good enough to change my life for content. I need to focus on my mental health. So it was just a very tricky situation. And then I was like, I don't want to live like this. I need a change. I need to do something. So I was like pushing my psychologist to tell me like, I need to get out of this cycle. It's like madness. It's a snowball effect. It's like snowball effect. It's like the more, I was like, I was stuck basically. So my psychologist suggested that it would make me feel so much better if I go on a 5-minute walk every day. And she's like, even though it may sound a little bit weird to you or it may sound funny, like take it as your homework and see how it's gonna make you feel. And it didn't heal my depression, obviously not. But I went on a short walk and I enjoyed it so much, and it was very difficult to leave the house, I'm not gonna lie. But I went on a short walk, and instead of walking for 5 minutes, I turned it into I can't remember now because that had to be like 3 months ago, 4 months ago. I think it turned into being a 30 or 40 minutes walk. And I was like, oh my God, that gives me so much pleasure. The rest of my life was still a mess. I was a mess. But that moment was nice. I enjoyed it, you know? And last year I got myself a Garmin watch, so I measure my steps, and I was like, oh, that's such a nice way to get my 10,000 steps in. So I started this, and I found myself a week after I started it, I signed up to a gym. And I was like, oh my God, I'm amazing. I started running on a treadmill. I was lifting weights. And then I was like, okay, I can do a little bit more. I can sign up to a running club. So I woke up one day, at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. I think so, to start a 7 a.m. or I think at 5 a.m. to start a 6 a.m. morning run. And it made me feel so good. Oh my God, it was amazing. So just stop it. And then a couple of days after that, I had a small accident. I was walking on a sidewalk. I didn't see a brick. I kicked a brick and I lost a toenail. I filmed a video about it. And like some of you were saying like, oh my God, a full video about you losing a toenail. Yeah, because it was like crushing for me because I made so much progress and then it was like, okay, now you can't do anything. So I stayed at home for 2 days and my depression was, well, it was still there, but I was like getting more and more and more and more bad thoughts and I was like, I don't want to leave the house anymore, you know, like this kind of feeling. After 2 days, I was like, okay. It's time to get your shit together. This is something you like. So I was like, okay, I can't wear sports shoes because I lost a nail and it's a wound on my toe. So yeah, I can still wear flip-flops. So I put my flip-flops in and holy shit, guys. I started walking like 16-kilometer distances easily. Few times I walked over 20 kilometers. I would do like over 20,000 steps on one walk. 1 second. I got a message because I have a problem with the internet and they're sending a technician. So I was walking crazy distances. And as I was walking crazy distances, I started feeling so much better, but also a side effect of that, I started losing weight. And I lost so much weight. I'll be so happy to tell you all about that. But basically, I don't weight myself, but I measure myself. I lost 11 centimeters in the measurements on my hips. I think that's an equivalent of 8 kilos or something like that. So I went from the size M to size S, but that was a side effect. So I was being active. I started signing up to a lot of workshops and a lot of events. I signed up to Women's Circle, which was like a group therapy to me. It was so nice to surround myself with like-minded women who share their own struggles and share their own journeys. We can support each other. We can inspire each other. That is so powerful, so powerful. I started signing up to a lot of different other events and it felt so nice in the moment, but I'm not gonna lie, I still had awful thoughts about myself and everything I was doing, it was never good enough. And even though I made so much progress, now when I'm telling you about this, I'm like, oh my God, yeah, girl, yeah, you're doing so good. But at that time, all I was thinking about is like, I'll give you an example. There was a day when I made, when I made 43,000 steps in one day. And when I told my friends about it, they were like, oh my God, Paula, that's amazing. And you know what I thought in this moment? When at the end of the day, I was like, oh, 43,000, good job. But all I was thinking about is like, you could have done more. You could have done 50,000. You know, like it never ends. In my own head, in my own thoughts, I was never enough. And I could always do better. But honestly, it would never be good enough. I would never be good enough for myself. And because of my thoughts, I still felt that I was not able to achieve anything. It's never going to be enough. I was procrastinating a lot. I wouldn't motivate myself to work. I wouldn't motivate myself to learn something new. You know, I was going on those events, but I was like high functioning still. I was still depressed. I was still in a bad moment. I understand where everything came from. So I had a nice base. You know, it took me a long time to build it. So I was in a better pace before my therapy, but I wasn't healed. I still had like a lot of dark thoughts and I was like, life doesn't make sense. There's no purpose. Why would I even get up from my bed? There's nothing good waiting for me. So I felt so lost. I felt like I got stuck and I don't know how to start moving forward. And that's until 3 weeks ago. Seriously, like you may think that, 3 weeks, it's not such a long time. So maybe you're not that stable. Maybe something is going to change and you're going to go back to the old version of you and the old way of functioning that you used to have. And I can confidently tell you I will not, because I genuinely changed the way I think. And I don't know what would have to happen for me to go back to my old self-sabotaging and like negative behavior, I don't know what would have to happen. And I'm not saying I am 100% there, because we will never be. My journey has not finished. That's why I'm inviting you to join me on my journey, because it will never finish for anyone. The self-growth, it just doesn't end, right? So 3 weeks ago, I thought that it just kind of like clicked for me, like, oh, okay, I know I need to start loving myself, but I don't know how. And someone told me like a couple of months ago, like, hey, you can use some prompts on Pinterest. And this one day I was like, oh, fuck, I don't know what to do. Okay, I'm gonna go to Pinterest, and I typed self-love. And I started seeing a lot of prompts. And I can't remember how exactly it happened, but I was like clicking from one source to another. And I was like, hey, I remember when I discovered that I have a fear of abandonment, I watched a lot of videos about the topic. Maybe I can find some good source on YouTube about how to start loving myself. And I found this amazing girl. I'm gonna paste a screenshot of her YouTube channel, and she has changed my life forever. I mean, I did, but she introduced me to tools that helped me change my life forever. And it was such an eye-opening moment. Oh my God. I'm gonna tell you more about all of this. I'm gonna break it down into smaller topics, because I want to go deeper in a lot of different topics. This is just like a rough timeline. Just so I just want to share my story with you, like in general. So I learned that one of the tools that can be helpful is to journal. And I used to journal, but I used to journal only when I felt that something bad was happening, and it would help me to calm down panic attacks, or like stop panic attacks, prevent them from happening, so it was very, very helpful, but I would only use it in bad times, in my weak moments. So now I found out that maybe it's worth trying journaling when I want to share something positive. And I should start in my journal, talk to myself as if I was talking to a different person, and be nice to myself. Talk to myself as if I was my own friend. So I started doing it, and I would tell myself that I created such a nice start to my life. I'm gonna tell you more about like how I journal in another video, because like I'm so proud of that. And it's such a cute chats, like they're so lovely, and I'm so nice to myself. And I started using an app called Notion, which allows me to paste some cute pictures and some videos. So it's like my own private social media, and I just love it. It's so nice and it's so wholesome. Like I love going back to my I forgot how to speak English. I love checking like, oh, what did I do last Wednesday? And I just like scroll and see all of those cute pictures, and I'm like, oh, that was so nice. Oh, sorry. My dogs are usually very quiet, but like sometimes they hear an outside noise. So I'm like, oh, that was such a cute Wednesday. I had such a lovely day, and it just like makes me happy, right? I also can see the progress, and like, who was I a week ago? And I'm like, oh, she was great, but she didn't know this and this and this, and now I do. So I was a nice person, but now I'm like more aware, more happy, like I accomplished so much more. So that is such a good thing. This is one of the things that helped me. And I also did something that I want to touch on a little bit deeper in a separate video, but I didn't hear anyone talk about it. I'm not saying nobody did, but this is something I created for myself. So now when I make decisions, I think of how it's gonna impact the future me. So I kind of like think of myself as the current me, the past me, and the future me. And those are, I imagine them like three different people almost. I mean, I know it's me, but like almost like separate people, because it helps me to make some planning and be more compassionate about the past, but also now when, let's say, I come back home after a few cocktails with my girlfriends, and I'm a little bit lazy. So I don't want to do my skincare routine. I'm like, it's okay. You know what? I had a late night. I don't have to do it. But then I think, how will it make me feel the next day if I skip that? And how it will make me feel the next day if I do that? It's the same with cleaning, because I used to be super messy person to the point that I didn't want my friends to visit me because like my house was a fucking mess. And now I think like I need to leave the house, but I see there's a plate that I need to wash. And normally I would be like, I'll wash it later. And now I'm like, oh, but it's gonna make me so much happier when I come back home and it's clean. So now I base my decisions on how it's gonna make the future me feel instead of the current me. And you know what? I just realized that, yeah, I don't want to do it in a moment, but it usually takes like 1 minute, maybe 5 minutes if it's like a different action, like applying some serum on the face or something like that. Even like small things that I forgot how you say it. Is it make a bed or do a bed? Make a bed, right? I used to never make my bed. And I don't know why, I was like kind of proud of it. I'm like, I'm a chaotic person, blah, 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 blah. I'm so messy, I'm so chaotic. I wasn't proud of being messy, but I always thought that it was a part of who I am. But now for the past, I think 2 weeks, every day I wake up, one of the first things I do in the morning is to make my bed. And it's such a small thing, but it makes the future me happy. So to break it down, I feel that my secret to fighting the depression is happiness and self-love. So by loving myself, I think about what makes me happy, because I want to live a happy life. And I'm living such a happy life right now, but I know it can be even happier. So I'm working on improving my happiness. And by improving my happiness, because I'm a very caring person, I'm a good listener, and I'm a people pleaser still. That's something I'm still working on, but I'm getting there. So I used to put everybody else's needs before mine. And now I learned that I need to be happy first to make other people happy. So even from a people pleaser perspective, if I care about other people so much, I need to make myself happy first. It's the same with like, if two people are injured, you need to take care of, or you're on an airplane, right? You need to put the mask first on you and then help others. Otherwise you can't help others, right? I like this analogy. I've heard it somewhere on YouTube because it just visualizes it better. Oh, Peanut, come on, stop it. I've just had internet technicians entering my house because the internet has stopped working yesterday, and hopefully they're gonna fix it today. I can see that there's something wrong with the cable. They're just pulling the cable. It's such a shame because I was so passionate. I still am, but like I'm so passionate about this topic that I just wanted to tell you the whole story in one go, but I needed to cut the video. But yeah, that is my story. And I am in a place where I don't have critical thoughts in my head. I mean, guys, this is just mind-blowing because 3 weeks ago, all I could think about is you're not good enough, you should do better, this is crappy, you're shit, nobody likes you. It was horrible. And now I'm in such a good spot where actually my thoughts are supportive. I am my own friend, I am my own supportive, and I learned how to give myself validation because I always seeked validation. I used to seek external validation, and now the internal one is the most important. And obviously there are still so many things I need to work on, so many things. In fact, yesterday I went to Women's Circle and yesterday's topic was shadow work. And I discovered that there's still so many areas that need to be improved. But like I said, this improvement will never end. It's a never-ending story. It's a never-ending journey. And you know what? I'm actually excited about the journey. Honestly, because like it's such a nice progress. Ever since I started feeling better, I organized my life to be so much easier for me. I told you, I used to be super disorganized. Now I have everything in Google Calendar. It actually brings me pleasure. I didn't know I was this person. I was like, I don't like it. I don't like planning. I don't like routines. I'm actually in the process of building a nice morning routine. I think I pretty much built it, but there could still be some improvements. I'll be so happy to tell you all about it. I have a night routine that makes me feel so happy in the moment. I apply some stuff on my skin and spray something on my cushion, and it just makes me feel like, that's amazing. What else? Like, I live a completely different life. Even like small decisions, like yesterday after a women's circle. So I had my coffee in the morning, then I went to a women's circle and I wanted to eat. I often do intermittent fasting, so I skip my breakfast. So like around 3 p.m. I was like, oh, it's time to eat. So I went to an Indian restaurant, and I would normally for lunch, I would have a coffee, but I was like, oh, but I'm so hungry. You know, when you're hungry that you're like, oh, I don't know how to describe it, but you know, like you're kind of feeling like weird. I'm like, well, if I have a coffee right now, it's probably going to cause anxiety. So do I crave coffee now? Yes. What is it going to bring me? Anxiety. So is it worth it? Nope. The future me, it's not going to be happy. And I got myself a ginger tea. And you know what? It makes me feel so good. And I'm not saying that when I have a craving, I'm not going to follow the craving. I mean, if one day I just like feel that I want to have a pizza, like fuck it, I'm going to go and have a pizza. I've been living such a healthy life right now. And I eat healthy. I work out so often. So like, you know, if I have a craving and it's going to make me feel good, hell yeah. But like, let's say if I eat unhealthy food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it's not going to make my future self happy. I'm going to be sluggish. I'm going to be lazy, you know, like not productive at all. And I'm not this person anymore. I want to feel good. I want to make myself happy. So yeah, thinking about myself as my past self, current self, and future self just helped me build this like whole way of functioning. It just made me make my decisions. It just made making decisions so much easier as well. Now, even when I think about some activity, I'm like, is it gonna make me feel happy or not? Like in the long run, not in the current moment. Because in the current moment, if I was doing what I want, or like if I don't want to do something, I would probably not brush my teeth. I don't like brushing my teeth. I mean, like I do it, don't get me wrong, but like, does it excite me? Nuh-uh, it doesn't. But it makes me feel good because I don't have any problems with my teeth now because I brush my teeth, right? Like no cavities. So like in the long run, it's a good decision. But in the current moment, I mean like, nah, you know the difference, right? So yeah, this is me, and I'm so happy that I finally filmed this video. I'm so excited. My battery is about to die, so I am gonna end here. But there will be more stories coming, and I hope this is something you find interesting because I am so passionate about it. So if I'll get good views on something I'm passionate about, I mean like, yes. Amazing. That'll be amazing. This will allow me to build even a stronger and happier life. Thank you guys so much for listening to me, and I hope maybe I inspired some of you or gave you the hope that, you know, it can get better. Because 3 weeks ago, I didn't believe it was going to get better. I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. I'm so lost. And now I'm like, I'm here to share my ways. Hopefully I can help others. Yep. Thank you so much, guys. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.